What is an adult problem that nobody prepared you for? Having to not only make important decisions by myself, I expected that much, but also having to do so in a timely fashion uninhibited by indecision. The death of the elder family and your rising name on that list. I was just ruminating earlier today with my station. It feels like I was 20 just yesterday, but then suddenly I have an adult daughter, I've buried grandparents and a parent, and now more voices turn to me than I can turn to myself. Deciding what's for dinner every night for the rest of my life. Vegetables die too soon in the fridge. The realization that $1,000 is not a lot of money to have, but it is a lot of money to owe someone. The inevitability of your parents dying. My dad just passed away and I'm 25. No one could have prepared me, I guess. Back pain. Aging parents. The incessant flow of bills, phone, water, electricity, insurance, rent/mortgage, also, college debt. Oh, and dental care. Kurt Vonnegut had it right when he said the trouble with getting older is you outlive your teeth. When to call a repairman and when you can amateurly fix it yourself. How much time you spent just doing stuff. Oh, need to replace my tire and that's over by the store, so while I replace the tire I can do some errands and I'll save time and be home in no time. 3 hours later, okay, just one more errand before I head home. Also, how putting off a small task just a couple days in a row can quickly amount to a longer chore/responsibility later. And I can just leave this in the sink, get to it later before bed. X 2 days. Why is this grime caked onto this plate still? I've been scrubbing for 10 minutes straight. Being sick and having to care for yourself. Like when you were younger, your parents would get the medicine, or the medicine cabinet would just be stocked all the time, etc. But here I am with a cold, having to build up the energy to go to the supermarket to buy some aspirin and throat lozenges all by myself. Careers. As a kid you hear what do you want to be when you grow up, and it's always nurse, doctor, fireman, game designer, etc. Which is all so simple. But then when you do start training/working in that career and you realize you don't like it, it just feels like such a terrifying thing to now have to think of a new career identity. I'm pretty sure most of us spend a lot of time working through this crap. My career isn't viable, what do I do? And come to the conclusion that yeah, it actually does make you more sane working in a shop or whatever, than going home at night having paid the bills and not stressing. It's the realization that really takes time. The endless cleaning. I had chores when I was a kid, but I had zero clue how much actual work went into keeping house. I cleaned my house this morning and by midweek it'll be a war zone of pet hair, crumbs, and dust. I don't even have kids. WTF, it's like the underpants gnomes show up when I'm asleep and fuck my house up. The combo between lack of income and plenty of debt. All the laundry. Good grief, does it pile up? Controlling your finances. Everything I have learned about budgeting, debt recovery, pensions, saving, and wise purchases I have had to learn for myself. A lack of community. Growing up you have your elementary school. Each day you see your friends and participate in activities together. Sometimes they move away and sometimes you do, but it largely stays the same through high school and middle school. Flash forward to adulthood and you're just alone. You want to make friends IRL, but have no idea how to go about doing it without seeming creepy, desperate, or God knows what. This is really hard when you are not overtly religious, so you cannot join a religious community. My friend and I talk about this from time to time. It's arguably the hardest thing to deal with in life. It gets worse the longer you live, as you know you are outliving your generation. You telling me I gotta make food every day? Often multiple times a day just to stay alive? That all those big things you thought you'd have time to do when you're older, often become physically impossible to do when you're older even if you have the time. You can go days on end without having to speak to a single person. At first it's a dream come true. After about 2 months you start talking to your toaster to pad the silence while waiting for your toast. Making important life decisions. When you're young you have a safety net, but when you're an adult you're taking on risk that can influence successive years of your life. Same goes for single vs family. Edit, thank you for the silver. No one helping you. Basic home maintenance, when to change air filters, smoke alarm batteries, timing of lawn care, how often do you clean the gutters, are you supposed to clean under the stove, what is edging, how do you recycle, how to change locks, etc. How much harder it is to make friends. I kinda feel like if you hadn't already made some good friends by 25 to 26, you'll end up stuck with superficial friendships. The mental load of remembering everything that needs to be done, and project managing it all. House repairs/improvements, finances, cleaning, laundry, bills, hiring people to do things, trips to the vet for vaccines, groceries, car maintenance, and the list goes on. It takes up too much room in my head. How much every injury you had as a kid didn't really heal, it just laid dormant until you woke up on your 38th birthday. Now it hurts all the time. The adult problems that you can't be prepared for. Committing your sister to a mental hospital, choosing to respect your mother's do not resuscitate when she stops breathing in the lazy boy watching Price is Right. Leaving your sibling in the homeless situation they've chosen because you've run out of options to try and help them and are now just hurting yourself. Becoming the financial anchor of your family because your father has been convicted of federal charges and is going to be in prison for 20 years. Life is real, and it will find you. No matter who you are, your parents get old, people get sick. You end up becoming the decider of things no human should be burdened with. Having to figure out what to eat 3 times a day. How depressing and mundane working 40+ hours per week for 30+ years is. I'm still confused AF. I thought adults had their shit together. The existential horror of being in a dead-end job with a horrible boss but can't afford to quit because you'll starve. Edit, whoa. Just so you know guys, I'm better now. I left the job I didn't like and I enjoy my work now. Also, as some of you suggested, I've been doing my master's concurrently. I'm working towards my dream job in a university. Being absolutely exhausted most of the time. I never thought I'd be the I hate everyone guy. But I am, and everyone can F\*CK off. Edit, thank you for the love. How hard it is to make/keep friends. Don't even get me started on relationships. Edit, thank you for all the awards. Chronic back pain with no drugs that can help. Being tired all the fucking time. How fucking lonely you can be. How uneducated people are. Like, the complete lack of reasoning and critical thinking is astonishing. You can't even have a proper conversation with some people because they make up their minds and the conversation is over. Office politics. Edit, this is the way. Having to put up with so much crap from people in higher positions even though they're less competent than you. Because you need that paycheck. And as you get older, sometimes life circumstances trap you there. People still being bullies way past high school. Getting old ain't for sissies. Can confirm, age 80. Enjoy your youth kids, it's fleeting. The disillusion that comes with realizing your parents had no actual clue what they were doing 86% of the time whilst raising you. If you don't love yourself as a teen, you're gonna have a fucking blast trying to learn it as an adult while supporting yourself. I wish I had tried harder as a teen to understand myself instead of drowning my emotions in the childishness of other adults. Definitely not quicksand and piranhas, I'll tell you that. I'm not sure when I will start feeling like an adult. I'm 40, married, and own a house. But I don't feel like an adult. Maybe there's a checklist or a guidebook I can read or something. The number of decisions I have to make. As a kid, you never have a lot of choice in what's for dinner, what to do on the weekend, where you live, your household income, what to do when your vehicle makes a funny noise, etc. Now that I have to look after all those things, I just wish someone would come along and tell me what to do half the time. Always having to be on at work, you need to meet goals and be on. At home with your kids, you need to be on. With your spouse, you need to be on. I'm very fortunate that my wife and I can just sit and veg in complete silence for hours. And nobody is internally freaking out. Stupid people are everywhere. As kids we are taught, in everything. Books, movies, cartoons, whatever. It's good versus evil. Almost every story, small or large. There are good people and there are bad people. As you get older you learn there are gray areas to that. Shades of good and bad. One thing I've learned in the last 10 years or so is how many stupid people are out there. And that some of what could be seen as evil or bad isn't someone being a villain. They might just be fucking dumb. You know that saying, there's always one in a crowd? I'm starting to see it's more like there's always about a third in a crowd. Parents aren't immortal. From a 16-year-old reading this thread, fuck. Normal housing becoming a luxury and designed for two people to split the bills. How is this normal? People used to live in households where the wife didn't work and raised 3 kids on a single income. I make $50,000 a year and can't afford to live on my own. Alcoholism, depression, lack of hope. Just to name a few. Having serious philosophical/religious/political disagreements with family. That depression doesn't go away after teenage hormones subside. I didn't prepare myself of the fact that I might actually make it this far. Fearing getting sick and not having enough sick days, causing me to lose my job and the insurance that would have helped me get better from being sick. And related, wondering why I lose so much of my paycheck to health insurance but then having to pay out of pocket and never hitting the maximum where my insurance actually pays anything. Friendship as an adult sucks. Especially as a single, childless woman of 30. Mean girls don't end after high school. If anything, they get worse. Anus hair. Being alone. Worry. Are the kids okay? Their grades, job, mental health. Can we make that bill this month? Is the dog getting sick? Is that a lump I should worry about? Is mom recovering from her fall? Did I remember to send flowers for the Mill's birthday? It never ends. Witnessing the cognitive and physical degradation of my parents in real time. How much time is spent cleaning and doing laundry? And I live alone. Dealing and taking care of your parents when they get older. Spending hours on the phone arguing with insurance companies, cell phone companies, telecom companies, student loan companies when they mischarge you. Having the energy to do any of your hobbies after taking care of the things that help you survive. Bills. They can suck the air right out of a room, plus they come every single month. Mental health disorders and productivity. I spent my whole HS and uni years doing my bare minimum to have a good curriculum and then discovered that my shitty time habits wouldn't work in adult land. Having to be the one to plan one of your parents' funerals. My mom passed unexpectedly when she was 45. Not a responsibility I ever expected to happen when I was 25. Having to do shit even though you're poorly/slept badly/not in the mood. I floaters with no solution in sight. Hitting 50 and still not knowing what I want to do when I grow up. I have posted this before, but I was not prepared for making the sensible right decision my whole life and still have everything fall apart. Lost my job, husband left, became a single parent, had major surgery, entered a pandemic, and had all 3 of my kids develop significant mental health issues. The isolation of being a single dad. Single parents don't have a fallback, someone to carry the load for a couple minutes while you decompress and jump back in the fray. When you're one deep, there is no break. When you're not at work, you're at home. There is no going out, getting away, dating or adult time. I'm rural and don't have family or a sitter for my boys, so it's all on me. The fact that you don't magically become an adult when you turn 18. I'm still wrestling with that problem, actually. Having to cut your child off from a friend/classmate/peer who is simply a bad kid. Oh, my aching heart, but it's what must be done. I can afford all the delicious food. Too much food. Somebody stop me, please. Just the daily fucking grind of it all. It's never ending. The American work/life balance is the worst. Being seriously sick and having to care for and comfort yourself. I'm currently huddled under 4 blankets fighting hot flashes and cramps from food poisoning and chills plus aches post-COVID shot. All I freaking want is my mama to give me hot tea, turn on Rocco's Modern Life, and pat my back until I pass out and sleep through it. The problem is I am a mother in my mid-30s, and my mother is a nearly 70-year-old little old granny who lives 2 states away. I miss my mom, guys. Crying face. The fact that teeth are a luxury. Being in debt. That moment when the switch is flipped between having parents who are vital and have their shit together, and essentially becoming the parent to people who have significant health/memory issues. Health decisions, bills, disposition of assets, paperwork, and that's on top of your own life and responsibilities. It's stressful to navigate, and painful to watch. Acid reflux getting worse. Gaslighting and emotional abuse. Sorry, I was raised safe from that stuff. Now it is destroying me. The realization that you should have enjoyed being young to the fullest instead of trying to be an adult all the time. How expensive mattresses are. Like WTF is this shit? Not enough time with my pets, sad face. The idea that you start losing people you care about at a much more regular intervals. The never-ending to-do list that just seems to get longer. I just want to not have nothing to think about for just a moment. That moment when you realize it's not just a phase and you actually do need therapy. Economic instability, crippling despair, rapid snap coiling of the penis. The fact it's all a facade. Adults aren't really more mature than most teenagers or 20-somethings in their early years, they just have more responsibilities to tend to and can't indulge in all the stupid shit they used to. Sure, some grow out of hobbies or interests, but for every person who acts super mature I know people who just are basically responsible 15-year-olds. My dad sure was one. Edit. Some folks seem to have had a nerve struck by this one, and it by no means is meant to be insulting. We all have different personalities. Sure, you might grow and change as you get older, but let's not pretend that there aren't adults out there who still love kids shows, comic books, playing with toys with their children, or who never grew up, and inversely that there were kids who worked 2 jobs and went to school and raised their brothers and sisters. I'm simply stating that I think the difference in maturity you are expected to see as you grow up is a falsehood people profess because no one really knows how to explain adulthood and growing up and sacrificing time and interests for survivability or necessity. Mental health and just how draining everyday life can be. Work, kids, spouse, bills, appointments, deadlines, vacations, it never ends. How to make friends outside of the school setting. The never-ending cleaning. I feel like I'm just cleaning all the time and the house it's still the same level of dirty. Or it looks really nice for maybe a couple hours. Then mealtime comes around or I spend some time on the couch, I'm not even doing anything, how do I need to vacuum again already, and bam, it's a goddamn mess again. When you have a house everything is always breaking all the dang time. Pants. When you're a kid, you don't wear out clothes, because in 6 months, you've outgrown them. That slows down by the end of high school, and there's this weird transitory period where you slowly discover that you've worn out that really comfortable pair of jeans and have to replace them, and no, holding on for a little longer just isn't an option. Thank you for watching the video. Welcome to Reddit Wisdom. Here you will learn the wisdom of the crowd, the wisdom of Reddit. Please consider subscribing for more Reddit wisdom.